All right, everyone. So we have a video here by Ohara. Now, I know I haven't reacted to Ohara in a while, and I do apologize for that because I really do enjoy watching his videos. And he made one around Chrollo Lucilfer, which, in my opinion, is just one of the best written characters in all of Shonen. I absolutely love this character, how he's written and how he's been written since the anime ended. And I'm not going to say what happens, although the video might get into it. So I guess possible spoilers for the Hunter x Hunter manga if you are not all caught up with the manga all the way up until where it is now, then you might want to be careful going into this video because there might be spoilers. So let's go ahead and watch this video and see why, or I guess the real reason Chrollo Lucilfer is so dangerous according to Ohara. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
Chrollo Lucilfer embodies both Jesus and the devil, and yet at the bottom of his, at first glance, paradoxical view of life and people, there's an incredibly strong and surprisingly unreligious message about power and how it tends to warp good intentions and love into cruelty and inhumanity. This makes Chrollo a case study of extremist human behavior, and given all the deep concepts explored in his character, it is no wonder that it's easy to misunderstand what his character is actually about. Is he a higher being with a higher purpose, as his powers and determination suggest, or simply a fanatic that uses his beliefs as justification for his horrendous deeds? Because to me, belonging to the trinity of godly villains that Togashi has created, each of them explores a different aspect of power and evil.
So before we move on, I want to ask you guys, out of these three, which one is your favorite? Because Meruem is my favorite for me out of these three, even though all of them are just absolutely fantastic. For me personally, I think that Meruem is probably the most well written out of the three, and he left more of an impact on me after the story, or after the Chimera Ant arc was over, as opposed to Chrollo and Hisoka. Now, Hisoka does do some things in the manga, which again, I won't say what it is here just in case you haven't read it, and I don't know if he's going to get into it in this video, so like I said, possible spoilers for the manga, which it does show you things that happen after the anime, where the anime ended. So if you're an anime only, this video might spoil things for you, so just like I said, be careful. But yeah, Meruem for me, best out of the three. But I'm curious to know, in your eyes, who is the best one out of these three? Let me know in the comments.
A different aspect of power and evil. As you'll remember from his video, Hisoka is an
which we will watch, by the way. Don't worry, we will watch it.
Sociopathy.
He also made another one on Kilo, which I'm gonna watch.
Meruem deconstructs the idea that humanity is special, as well as the dark implications of pride and arrogance.
You guys know, you should probably know why by now why I do this. You don't need me to.
And pretty effortlessly continuing that pattern, I think that Chrollo explores the themes of power and evil from a very unique perspective as well. Religion, or to be more precise, the belief into a higher purpose. To me, Chrollo highlights both the best and the worst in religious practice and belief. In a story exploring human morality with Chrollo, Togashi makes the most direct statement as to what it means to be morally good or bad. And no matter if you're Christian or not, or actually religious or not, understanding Chrollo will show you why you love Hunter x Hunter so damn much. Because as you'll find out, I'm a bit of a fan myself. Now, one thing I noticed quickly after getting more and more into anime was that religious themes are not exactly a rarity in the genre, and given Japan's own culture, it's no big surprise that especially Zen Buddhism and Shintoism are part of many popular stories. Hunter x Hunter is no exception to this rule, only that as usual, I believe it deals with the associated ideas and concepts on a much more fundamental and at least for me, much more interesting level. However, with Chrollo, it also explores a religion that
It also probably helps that you can
interesting level. However, with
literally see on his back an upside down cross. So yeah, like Togashi does put a lot of religious visuals into his story. Like Meruem, of course, has the long ears or the long earlobes. I forget which religion that's associated with. I want to say Buddhism, but no, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, if you're watching this and if you know what it is, and let me know in the comments which religion the long earlobes is usually associated with. But yeah, he does put a lot of religious visuals in his stories, or at least in Hunter x Hunter. I can't really remember any in Yu Yu Hakusho. No, I can't really remember any. At least not off the top of my head. Maybe there was, and I just don't remember it being there.
Also explores a religion that I rarely see integrated into other stories, at least on such a level of understanding: Christianity. You definitely already know all the obvious connections that associated with Chrollo. There is the reverse cross tattooed in perfect Post Malone fashion on his forehead that is also stitched on the back of his robe. This reverse cross is both associated with Saint Peter, but also the Antichrist, also known as the Devil, or Lucifer, which would have thought is just one letter short of Chrollo's last name. The Phantom Troop, that as we will see is a big part of Chrollo's identity, consists of 13 members, just as Jesus and his 12 apostles, with Hisoka representing Judas and his betrayal.
そんなやつは。それに俺の考えじゃ、ユダは裏切り者じゃない。
And just like Jesus, Chrollo sees himself on a divine mission, even though he doesn't seem to know what exactly that mission is, and even if he knew at some point, he seems to have forgotten it by now. Now, right from the start, being willing to sacrifice himself for his followers and taking no real interest in worldly possessions, he didn't really follow my expectations of a typical bad guy, but at the same time clearly does some horrendous things. Holy fuck, it's word. And for me, it was this atmosphere of higher purpose and moral ambiguity that give Chrollo his undeniably intriguing and mysterious presence. So it's fair to say, I believe, that the religious hints here aren't exactly subtle. The point, however, I think is, because in some ways Togashi portrays Chrollo as Christ and in others as the Antichrist. He can both value the lives of his comrades but at the same time slaughter wholesale without the blink of an eye. So let's talk about the deep message behind Chrollo's character. But first, a break! Real quick, I want to talk about PeerVPN, the sponsor of today's video. Thank you PeerVPN for sponsoring this video. There is still no camera there. Now, unless you've been living under a rock or have been Amish until last week, first of all, congrats on making it to the internet, but secondly, you will probably know what a VPN does. It allows you to—
I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows by now what a VPN already is, considering how many YouTubers have been sponsored by them.
Your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel. This way, you can hide your online activity from anyone who might want to get their hands on your data. Or you might simply want to watch Netflix or Crunchyroll when certain content is blocked in your country. Now, out of all the many VPN providers out there, Pia is definitely one of the most transparent and reliable ones. It's highly customizable, none of your data is stored, and there's even a 30-day money-back guarantee should you change your mind. So if you want to browse safely and support my channel at the same time, use my link in the description below to get PeerVPN for 83% off. That's less than $3 a month and 2 extra months on top for free. Now, we don't really know much about Chrollo's childhood and why he relies so incredibly much on fate. All we really know is that he's from Meteor City, which has a lot of mystery built up around it and which we know is a place where people throw other people away.
Which is one of the things that I am kind of hoping that Togashi does kind of explore in the manga, especially considering what's happening now and how the, again, I won't go into detail, but how the Phantom Troop is involved, I really do hope that he does get into what Meteor City actually is and why, or at the very least go into Chrollo's childhood and what led him into becoming the person that he is now. Like, what actually happened to him? Like, why does he believe in the things that he believes? Why was he so willing to become the leader of the Phantom Troop? And why he believes that, you know, everything, like all of the members, their number one priority should be the group in and of itself. Like, nothing is above the Phantom Troop, nothing is above the Spider, not even himself, the leader. So if that's why he was hoping that Pakunoda wouldn't do anything to save him, because doing so would put the group at risk. He was willing to give his own life to protect them, and I really hope we get to see his childhood to know why he ended up growing up and having this mindset, what happened. And you know, maybe he doesn't have to go into all the details about Meteor City and all of its history and how it became and how it came to be. Like, if he wants to leave that a mystery, okay, fine. Like, you know, just something for us fans to sort of like theorize and maybe come up with our own stories in our own heads about, you know, how Meteor City came to be. Who knows, maybe it involved an actual meteor. I mean, you never know. But yeah, I at the very least do hope that we get Chrollo's childhood. I at least hope we get that. I mean, we got a glimpse of it
so dark
in that
and
little
terrible that some
flashback that we just
don't
saw.
even believe it exists. Now, even for me, it's not so hard from a psychological lens to see why someone who grew up in such an environment would tell themselves that fate governs everything and at the same time look for a higher purpose in life. Growing up in a world of suffering and pain, this can be a real source of hope and stability. All the things you're going through have a reason, and all the morally questionable things you have to do in order to survive are not your fault, but part of a greater plan. And in this darkest of places, Chrollo forms the Spiders, a sort of family that shares his beliefs and is a community of people who care for, protect, and respect each other. A real chance to cast aside all their pain and hardship.
安心しな。今日中に退治してやるよ。自称女王。
And so the group and its cause becomes everyone's purpose. I'm sure no matter if you go to a service or not, this is a concept you'll probably recognize from religion. In fact, it's arguably the most important part for many believers. Having a community of people who share your beliefs and help you through times of darkness and hardship. It's also no surprise then that Chrollo is so obsessed with Neon's ability to predict one's fate. Seeking her out was the only time he ever diverted his attention from their mission in York New City.
もしそういう表現があったなら、慰められるのはレイじゃなく、あなたの方だと思う。
Chrollo's belief that everything is predetermined by fate leads to his Jesus-like ability to forgive and accept as well. Most strikingly, he doesn't see Judas, in other words Hisoka, as a traitor once he starts hunting down members of the troop and even himself, because Hisoka has, in his eyes, no control over his own life. It has all been written beforehand. Hisoka is basically just playing his role. So why in the world would Chrollo hate him if it's not his fault in the first place? And of course, forgiveness and acceptance are universally important concepts that are taught by many religions. So up to this point in my mind, Chrollo embodies some of the best things about faith. Finding an altruistic purpose in life, giving that purpose to others like him, forming a caring community looking for a better life, and being forgiving to others. The Jesus side of Chrollo.
This is the Messiah, the chosen one! No, he's not!
But given all that, there is no denying that this is the person we're talking about here.
なぜ俺はまだ生きてるんだ
Chrollo is one of the major antagonists in the story, even though interestingly enough, he only touches with our main characters very scarcely. In fact, Kurapika and Hisoka are the only characters whose arcs are deeply involved with Chrollo, which is of course intriguing, because Hisoka is himself a major antagonistic force. And be honest, I know you love two great villains fighting each other just as much as I do.
Of course. I mean, who doesn't love it when two villains get to just duke it out as much as they want to, using all of their abilities to their fullest extent and just finding out who would come out on top. Now, I mean, I guess I kind of did say this video is going to contain possible spoilers, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know what? I'll see if he talks about it. If he does talk about it, then I'll give my thoughts on it. But if he doesn't, I'm not going to say what it is.
Even though they both fall on the murderous lunatic end of the chart, they vary quite a bit in their motivations and values. Chrollo and Hisoka are Jesus and Judas. Unshakable stability versus deliberate chaos. No value to a single human life, so I might as well kill them, versus human life is the only thing that gives my actions value, so I might as well kill them. After all, Hisoka is the embodiment of lust, one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, oh, that's the swings, definitely. Oh boy, this became such an iconic moment in the anime fandom. Like you see this memed almost everywhere. It's it would be funny, but then when you think about the context, it's like, ooh, that's, oh boy, you know, let's just move on.
Hisoka is lust, Chrollo is greed. Now, he likes to give off the appearance of the selfless leader that doesn't need anything, and yet he is greedy beyond limits. He wants the money, he wants vast knowledge, he wants all the worldly things. Chrollo was a man with nothing who now wants everything. Someone so obsessed with human nature to the point where he will use his obsession to manipulate another person to get what he wants from them. He instilled himself to read books and observe the people around him, even using these books to pick certain personality traits for himself that he finds suitable. Most telling, however, is of course though his nen.
Oh wait, sorry guys, I gotta, if there's gonna be music here, I gotta be careful. It's let me just mess with the settings a bit. Okay, it should be fine now. Skill hunt.
As we all know, nen usually reflect.
Okay, so if there's not gonna be any music, maybe I could bring it back up a bit. Alright, we should be fine. There we go.
The user's personality really well, and I was shocked to find out that Chrollo has the greediest nen ability of them all, stealing other people's powers. What turns Chrollo's good intentions and beliefs against themselves is his complete.
See, that's this is one thing that I do love about the power system that Togashi came up with for Hunter x Hunter, you know, the nen system, or the nen power system, excuse me, is that it's a great way for him to basically tell us, the audience, through, you know, visuals, what the character's personality is. So for example, you look at Chrollo, his ability, Bandit Secret, it specifically targets stealing other people's Hatsu. Now when you think about that, you know that Hatsu is basically a represented or a representation of the person's own character. You know what I mean? It's like their personality, it's their own, it's their personality given physical form in a way. I know it's not exactly that, but you know what I mean. And the fact that his ability is stealing other people's personality, like, that tells you something about Chrollo, that he probably doesn't have his own personality, and so that's why he needs to steal it from other people. And I'm pretty sure we kind of already touched on this a little bit in another video. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, I think I do remember touching on this a little bit in a previous video we watched. But yeah, again, this is just something that I love about Togashi's writing, which is you know, usually stories with power systems, one thing that I love about them is that the power that they have sort of reflects their personality. Like, let's say someone has the ability to control fire, like it's representative of their own personality being, you know, their own quote unquote fiery personality. You know, it's indicative of who they are as a person. And I just, or at least a part of who they are as a person. And I always love it when writers do this. And Togashi, in my opinion, just like had a very, very unique way of showing us this. Also, Kubo does it in Bleach. Each character's swords, their zanpakutos, is like it's a reflection of who they are as a person. And I just love it. Even Oda does it a little bit in Bleach. Like a person's devil fruit kind of also reflects the character.
Unquestioning faith in them. Chrollo is convinced that everything is predetermined. Everyone has their fixed role to play, and thus it doesn't really matter what he or anyone does, since it's fate guiding his hand anyway.
占いが得意なんだってね。どれくらい当たるの？
百発百中なんだって。
Subscribing to his beliefs, as you should be to my videos, means that to Chrollo,
which you can do by following the links in the description. I forgot to say this at the beginning of the video, which I usually do, but yeah, check the description for links to Ohara's channel and the link to this video in particular if you want to go watch it for yourself.
Humans are nothing but puppets, and he uses this belief as a justification for all the atrocities he commits. And since he has incredible power, he sees himself in the privileged position above other humans, chosen by fate to fulfill the most special of roles. He thinks he's Jesus. Now, interestingly enough, what Chrollo really wants, just like Hisoka and Meruem, is fill the hole in their hearts. The deep, dark emptiness.
By the way, guys, I'm sorry if you can hear something in the background. For some reason, there's some idiot out there.
Kicks, looking for things that make him feel excited and alive by risking his own life and making other people feel like shit as well. Again, more on that in his video.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Meruem actually meets Komugi, overcomes his pride, and manages to fill this hole before dying. And Chrollo clings to his destined role in the world and the belief that everything he does has a higher purpose. That there is a reason for all the pain and suffering in the world, and carrying out his role, he will be the savior of all.
He is the Messiah!
Now, the Phantom Troop means so much to Chrollo because these people.
So I'm guessing, again, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing this is probably from one of the Monty Python films. Just a guess, because I've only seen one of them. I need to definitely watch the others.
The Phantom Troop means so much to Chrollo because these people are all that really matters to him on a human level. They are his true family and purpose. But even though he acknowledges this himself, he still tries to push himself away from others and cast his human side away. Instead of embracing his humanity and be vulnerable, he tries to make himself something more. And I think that this approach to life represents the darkest side of religion and other doctrines in general. When you follow a belief so radically and without question that you lose sight of the original good intent. It's a striking critique by Togashi of all the violence.
Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, this is something that does happen in real life. It sucks, but
throughout history. Basically, seeing oneself above others and believing.
Unfortunately, there's always going to be people who take something that originally started with good intentions and they take it too far. It's something that always happens, and they always use it to justify their own selfish actions. It's, oh no, I'm doing this because I believe in this cause, or yeah, sure, buddy. That's what's actually happening.
Oneself to be the only one that truly understands how the world works, or borrowing from another popular franchise, doing it for the greater good.
一つ聞きたいことがあるんだけど、なぜ自分たちと関わりのない人間を殺せるの?
I'm sure you already know in your gut why Chrollo and extremist beliefs in any doctrine are problematic, but let me tell you anyway. It is objectively immoral. It's immoral to murder in the name of a higher purpose or the belief that all is predetermined. Hunter x Hunter is famous for exploring morality through characters that feel real because they are morally gray. However, I think it would be a grave misconception to think that Hunter x Hunter believes that there is no such thing as morality. In fact, the opposite is true. What Togashi shows through the actions of all his characters is that there is many ways to act good or badly even within a character.
Yep. Gon being the prime example of it.
But in the end, what determines a moral action is how it affects human well-being. You might have heard the famous phrase, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. What this sentence really means is that we all have no way to tell what is actually real. The world might be a simulation. You could just be a brain in a jar, or like Chrollo thinks, everything is guided by God or by fate. We just don't know. The only thing you can be sure of in this moment right now is that it feels like something to be you. The fact that you are experiencing something right now is the only thing you know really exists. And so whether you suffer right now or not is the only thing that really matters. Human well-being is what matters. The well-being of all conscious creatures is what matters, even if we had no control over our lives. And so treating humans as puppets and killing them for a higher purpose goes against the highest purpose there is, an objective morality. And the fact that we had to go this deep to solve why he's evil is why Chrollo is one of my favorite villains ever. However, to really understand how Togashi sees evil, you'll need to watch my video on Hisoka here.
Again,
well.
we will watch this video, guys. All right. So there's the
as well.
So yeah, there's the that's the video. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what I could say that could add to everything that he's already said in this video, but Chrollo is just he's just such a fantastic character. I cannot wait to see what happens with him in the manga when it eventually comes back. Who knows, maybe in like 20 or 30 years, we'll never know. Again, I know some people like it kind of sucks for them to wait, and I understand that because it does get a little bit frustrating. I'm not saying it's not, but for me personally, I guess I'm just willing to wait because I know, and I've said this before, but I just know that the product is going to be worth it. It's going to be well worth the wait. I would much rather Togashi take his time to write out the story as opposed to him just rushing it because he's afraid that people might lose interest. And I would much rather wait for him to put out what he believes is the best version of the story than for him to rush out a story that's not as good as it could have been if he was just allowed to or if he just allowed himself to take his time in order to write it. But that's just me. I understand if other people aren't the same. Guys, if you have any thoughts on this video, just let me know about it in the comment section down below. What do you think about Chrollo's character? I mean, do you think that he's the best written antagonist in Hunter x Hunter, or do you agree with me that Meruem is the best antagonist in Hunter x Hunter, or maybe you believe it's Hisoka? Let me know all of it in the comment section down below. And while you're here, maybe consider leaving a like, sharing this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure to hit the bell for notifications. And if you're watching this, guys, I cannot thank you guys enough for supporting me, for helping me get over the 1,000 subscriber mark. That's been a goal of mine for a long time, and I finally achieved it, and I cannot thank you guys enough for helping me, for supporting me all this time. And I really hope that you'll continue to support me as I hit my next goal of 2,000, which I don't know when the hell that's going to be, but hey, I'm willing to put in the work. And if you have any recommendations for videos you want me to watch, just let me know about them in the comment section down below as well. And thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye for now.